Welcome to Challenge 2. So today we're going to look at how do we take our goals that we've created and turn them into actual inquiry thinking strategies. Just to give you a little background of these strategies is about a few years ago when we had a different guide in the PYP, I kept noticing a pattern that when the IB was talking about inquiry, creating engagements, creating assessments, all of the components that we need in our written curriculum, I kept noticing that they kept referring back to 4 key terms: engaging, challenging, relevant, and significant. And I thought, Lou, if the IB is taking the time to put them in 5 different spots in their guide, shouldn't you be teaching according to them and planning according to them? And I was like, light bulb, hello. And so I then started towards the end of my teaching career, literally designing my lessons utilizing those terms within my mind. And then I taught them to my students. I taught them to my students as success criteria. And I told them when they engage in inquiries of their own, these are the things I expect to see. And thus, they turned it on me. Well, shouldn't we then be able to assess you, Miss Gerlach? And then I started having them assess me. Very powerful, because now you've got student ownership in the process. So amazing. So what are these inquiry thinking strategies? They are engaging, challenging, relevant, and significant. Engaging. Oftentimes people think engaging, fun, hands-on. Yeah, it can be those things. But I think engaging means awakening the mind to think and connect. This is allowing our students to think about what they're learning and their prior learning and make new connections to other experiences and having those aha moments, right? We want our kids to have those. That is what's happening when they're engaging with ideas. Now, you want to make it a little bit more deeper. I hate to say it that way because they all have different roles, but challenging is a little bit deeper because challenging, you're attacking their learning. You're saying and pointing out certain misconceptions that they've somehow fused together based on pieces of information, of observations and experiences. They have these misconceptions about the world. And our role as an educator is to help them to wipe away those misconceptions and have a broader view. And so when we're doing that, we're now giving them new ideas and stretching them to a place of discomfort. We're taking them out of their comfort zone and saying, sorry, kid, you need to think about this from a different lens. And here's now the new task that I want you to complete from this lens. That leads to a place of discomfort. Then, if they go through those processes, then they're able to then attach themselves into it through relevant connections. They're able to say, okay, now I have all this information. I've had these prior experiences. I'm not being challenged to think this way. Man, I have experiences or know of experiences within my family, my friendships, through observations, through other texts, through the world that I can bring to the table as an example of this happening. And I can also draw upon most importantly, my prior experience, the things that I know and feel and believe. Once again, about that passion, right? And then from there, okay, well, how can we then stretch it beyond you? That's significant. Significant is saying, okay, well, these things are happening at your lower level, but how are they happening to everyone else in the world? And where's this pattern coming from? And why is this pattern recurring? That is big for a child to obtain, but that is where we want them to go. And so all of these inquiry thinking strategies are so important because they lay on each other. And there's not one that takes more precedent and one more difficult, because they're all equally difficult to a child and to us as adult learners. So how are we going to use them? So this is is the task. Thinking about engaging, relevant, challenging, and significant. I want you to go through your first unit of inquiry that you're going to teach this year. And I want you to assess your learning engagements. Which ones would they be? So for instance, I look at engagement 1. Is it going to be an example of engaging, engaging, challenging, relevant, and significant? Which one is it? Decide. Okay, so you might need a copy of your, a digital copy of your plan. If you have one paper, great. And what if you come to an engagement, you're like, I don't see any of this stuff? Then that might be one that you as a team might want to work on to fix. So if you're going into possible suggestion fixing mode and you're like, I don't know what to suggest, well, guess what? I've done the thinking, well, I've supported the thinking for you in this guide here. This guide right here, Inquiry Thinking, there's going to be 6 pages, is that right? Yeah, 5 pages, sorry, something like that, of strategies. And on each page, there's going to be 8 strategies each. The one that really differentiates between in-person and virtual is engaging, because how we engage largely depends on whom we're around and what space we're using. But the other ones, challenging, relevant, and significant, can be utilized in any platform. So that's what I want you to do, is go and assess what activities are you doing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to then, I'm going to give you this hint. In our live session, we're then going to go into looking at which type is mainly contributing to your unit. Because if you don't have a balance, if you just have engaged, then you just have a lot of activities you're doing, right? We need to connect to different parts. That's the whole purpose of the PYP. And so we're going to look at those and then look at ways that we can change, let's say, and engage. If we have too many of those, how can we change them to become more relevant, significant, and challenging? So that's your task for challenge 2. So have some fun with it, and I can't wait to see your posts below. As usual, we're going to have a separate post for your burning questions, and I'll have all the materials attached. Good luck and enjoy.